Maui. Nice to have you here in my shoe store, If the Shoe Fits, in Maui, Hawaii, where I sell the largest assortment of work boots on the island. And today I am really tapping into the question of big sizes, and I am introducing you to some of the Ariat work boots that specialize in big, wide sizes. In my store here, all these boots that you see behind me, I only carry wide sizes. Most of my clientele have pretty wide feet. That's what I'm known for. And Ariat is so awesome because they offer boots that go all the way up to 18. And I get a lot of guys that are, Tongan, Fijian, that maybe do cement and concrete, and they need something tough that will hold up for them. Some of these boots that I'm going to discuss with you today also have a high heat resistance. So I get a lot of guys that like to work the highways for the government, and so they deal on hot pavement. And some of these boots go up to 572 degrees Fahrenheit. So those are really great, but specifically I'm tapping into the size 15 to 18, okay? Because they're not super easy to find out there in the shoeverse. All right, so I'm going to start here first. So this is called the Big Rig. And the Big Rig, this one happens to have the safety toe, okay? And this one is a composite toe, so it's much lighter. And I didn't really find it on my Amazon carousel, but you can dig around. I'm sure they'll show up. And this boot is just fantastic. It's got this oil and slip resistant sole, right? This one I'm showing you here is a size 18. I've actually sold one of these. So people are like, oh, haha, that must be just a demonstration shoe. Well, no, it's not. There are guys that wear this size. So I also like this one because it features the Ariat Dry Shield. And you can always tell that it'll have, if it's got a waterproof, it'll have a little tag here. And Ariat has their own dry shield that they use. So this boot happens to come in 4E, okay? So that's super wide. They offer it in a double E as well, but pretty much only the wide sizes. As far as the composite toe goes, I find that most of the boot industry is kind of going that way with the composite toe because it's lighter in weight. Some guys like it so that they can travel through the airport pretty easy if they're going out here in Maui. Some guys travel from island to island doing their job. They don't have to worry about that. So it's got a composite toe. I think it's a pretty heavy boot because it's a size 18. But, for the big guy that's wearing this, I don't think it's so bad. So like I said, it's waterproof. It has a composite toe, really great tread on here, oil and slip resistant. So the name Big Rig is kind of good because I do get a lot of truck drivers that, the guys that are driving for the oil and things like that have their special license. So great boot. They don't have to worry about pumping gas. This is a great boot for that. My experience has been that the Ariat soles stay really well glued. So I love that. They do have a stitch down component to this boot. It is not insulated, so if you need a good snow boot, we're coming into winter, they don't do an insulated version of this, but what an awesome boot. So that's the Big Rig, okay, with the safety toe. The next boot that I'm going to show you, you're also going to see it. This is the size 18. And this is the Big Rig, but without a safety toe. Okay, so it has a little bit thinner profile. Some guys might like that for driving. Most of my clientele their businesses seem to require a safety toe. So anyway, this is like I said, this is the Big Rig. It is not waterproof. Makes it a little bit lighter. And again, this comes in the E width or the double E width, which is the standard wide, and then it comes in the 4E. So another lovely boot. Some guys like here on the island, they might like this boot if they work in the hotter areas. There's the Kihei, Lahaina areas where it's really hot, they get full sun, and so they don't really need a waterproof boot, and maybe they don't need the safety toe, so this would be what I would suggest for them. And both of the big rigs that I'm showing you, whether it be the waterproof or not, they both go from sizes 8 to 18. And that's in the double E and the 4E. So again, really nice boot. Oil and slip resistant, right? You want that. So that's great. All right. Moving on to one of my best sellers. This boot goes up to size 15. I'm showing it to you in the 14 because that's what I had in stock. But this is the Workhog. It is one of my best sellers. I don't know if it's just because of the look. They all fit amazing. Ariat puts a really nice insole. I'll show you. And when I'm telling you these sizes, I'm saying they're pretty true to size, lengthwise, okay? This one here, this is a, kind of a cushioned sole. It doesn't have an arch support, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. They're still pretty nice and squishy, especially in the heel. And this boot comes as a waterproof boot. This is, hold on here, I'll get this back in there. So, yeah, so it's got the nice styling to it. It is the square toe, which is super hot right now. All the guys want the square toe. I carry it with and without the safety toe, and I believe it's a composite toe as well. Yep, composite toe. So I've got the safety toe, and it's not too heavy. It's not a steel toe. And what else about this boot? Like I said, I carry it with and without the safety toe, but both versions are the waterproof, and thus you're going to see the Dry Shield logo on it. Pretty, like I said, pretty true to size. If you're a 10, you can order a 10 confidently, I believe. And this boot only goes up to a double E, and it ranges from sizes 7 to 14. Sorry, so it doesn't have a 15, but 7 to 14. And I put it in today's collection because it's such a big seller for me. It has an oiled leather to it. And yeah, it's got the oil and slip resistant sole on it. It doesn't have too high of a heel, but enough that if you do need to climb in and out of the truck, if you are doing a little bit of ladder work, I don't usually recommend a pull-on boot for ladder work, right? I mean, they get looser over time. And anyway, good boot. So one more thing to know when you're trying on these pull-on boots, no matter what pull-on you're putting on, what you're looking for as far as fit goes is you want it to not lift on the heel. When that happens, the boot's too big, and it's, even if it's got a safety toe, it's still going to stretch a little bit. And then it's just going to keep rubbing up and down the back of your heel, and you can't fix it. So my followers will probably know from my past videos that I am a cobbler of 20 years, and I've seen all kinds of repairs, and the one thing you really can't fix is a shoe that is too big. There is one little hack you can try, and that is, I'm going to show you this now. That is including a Power Step orthotic. I like this orthotic above all others, and it's not just because I carry it, but I only carry it because it actually has a nice support on the arch, right? And I put it in the shopping carousel down below so you can find it. And once you put this inside the boot, it actually has even more structure to it, and it fills in that area. It gives you a drop heel here, so it really supports the arch, which helps you with things like plantar fasciitis. If your feet are super fatigued at the end of every day, check your arch supports, because these boots are wonderful, and I see why they don't put an arch in it, because everybody's different. Whereas their factory art insoles, they fit everybody, right? So research into getting one of the Power Steps. I put the most basic one in the shopping carousel because that's what I carry. It fits most people. But they do have a high arch. They've got pink ones if you want pink. But I just go with the basic Pinnacle. It's the, as you will see, it is of the original. All right, so I really love the Power Steps. And I always tell people, if you're going to buy a boot, and if you've got a little bit of room and financially, add the Power Steps. It's going to be a game changer. Plus, it makes your boots last longer. Okay, so the next boot, this is also one of the Workhog collections. It too is in the carousel there, it's shopping carousel. And this is waterproof, It is a carbon toe. It's got a nice wide toe box, and this boot goes up to goes from size 7 to size 15. It's got this really cool embroidered Patriot flag there. That's pretty fun. I sell a lot of those. Guys really like that. And it's still part of the Work Hog collection, so it fits pretty much the same. So this is the Work Hog. This is the Work Hog. I will say maybe this one runs a little bit bigger. So if you're typically a size 10, maybe you go with a 9.5 and try that first. The lovely thing about Amazon or Ariat.com, wherever you're from where you're ordering these, they're so great about returns. I mean, Amazon makes it so easy to just go to Whole Foods and drop it off, right? Or go to the UPS store and just drop it off. So I know a lot of people don't like to order online, but like I said, it runs about a half a size big, so order a half a size smaller for you. And I love it. Great boot. This also has this nice, they call this the U-turn entry system here, which is just a little bit of a give. It's kind of hard to see there, but this piece of material has some elastic set around the edges of it so that it actually will stretch out as you try to slide your heel in there. Some guys, I mean, it has a pretty wide upper anyway. The size I'm showing you right now is a 15. So it has a pretty wide leg here, okay? So it's pretty easy to get in, but there are some of them that, well, all of these are pretty generous in the calf area. So, all right, so let's move on to the next one. I like this was fun because I carry a lot of the work boots, so I wanted something with a little more color for the guys that want something a little different. And this is called the Work Hog XT. And I am showing it to you in the size 15. Has a little bit of different color on the top. I mean, as you can tell, the vamp, that's what they call this part. The vamp is all about the same from Work Hog to Work Hog. But you know, you get a little bit of style here. Most of the guys I know that buy shoes from me put their pants over it so you don't really see it. But you never know, they might just want something different when they're working. And they've already had all the others, so they want to add something new to their collection. I almost always try to get them waterproof because it does rain out here, and as soon as you get your boots wet, you know, bummer. Most of these boots that I'm showing you also come in a non-waterproof version. So anyway, but I do the composite toe because most people need that. The Work Hog soles are almost all the same, right? This one, let's see if there's any neat attributes that I need to let you know that I don't already mention. And no, pretty much they're all the same. The fit's about the same. This one's a true to size. So if you're a 10, order a 10, okay? Then my very best seller happens to be the Shock Shield. This is the Sierra Shock Shield, and it comes in this color. Sometimes the versions of leather that they're using during production will be a little darker or a little bit lighter, but in general, they're this color. It's a very popular boot. I carry it with and without the safety toe. It only comes in the square toe, and this one goes from size 7 to size 15. And this incorporates a special cushioning in the heel. It's almost like the Air Jordans, how they have that heel pocket, that air pocket. Plus they add this really nice insole called the Energy Max. So it's got extra squish in it. And even though I encourage men to buy the insoles with these, any boot, this one they don't really need to. They've got so much extra support right in the bottom here, so it's really great. This is I think this is the steel toe. Yeah, this is a steel toe version, and waterproof, like I said. And so same, it's sort of like the Work Hog sole, really durable. It's just meant to be worked in and beat up, right? I really encourage waterproof, so, you know, like I said, once you get your boots wet, they kind of get funky, and it's hard to get rid of it unless you buy those air dryers specifically for boots, and Amazon sells them. I didn't put a link in here. All right, so let's now talk about some other things that are great when you're really looking at buying your boots. This could even be considered like gift ideas for that person in your life that has everything. But if I were to take care of these boots, my very number one product that I love to carry, because I carry it in my shoe store and my shoe repair shop, I use it on all my repairs, is this Cadillac boot and shoe leather lotion. This can work on any one of these boots that I just showed you today. The only difference is that on this boot here, because it's like a rough out, it's a very light suede, it might change the color a little bit darker. But, you know, it's a conditioner, a cleaner. I'll just read it to you. It cleans, polishes, protects, and conditions. It's for all colors of leather, vinyl, reptile, and other exotic skins. You just don't want to use it on fabric. It wouldn't hurt it, but it's not meant for fabric and it's not meant for suede, okay? And I do tell people, you just put this on with an old t-shirt. It's that easy, right? And if you're a really busy person, you don't have time to clean your boots before you do it, just put it on over top of it. Who cares? It's still going to give you that protection that you need that will extend the life of your boots, especially coming up into the wet season. Okay, so I really like this. This is my very favorite product for cleaning and conditioning. The other product that some gentlemen really like to use on their boots is an oil. This is called Neat's Foot Oil. And this has a great application. Things like, I tell guys that if they're working with drywall, concrete, they have their own issues, but especially drywall, the dust that makes your boots, it kind of just sucks the moisture out of the leather. And especially if you're busy, what I recommend is buying the oil version. Do a Tupperware dish. Pour this into the Tupperware dish with a lid and get a dedicated house paintbrush, or just a paintbrush that's kind of wide. Dip it into the oil, even if you haven't, cleaned your boots, and just brush it all over your boots, okay? It'll soak in, it does darken the leather, but it will lighten up. But this stuff is awesome. The only time that I don't recommend this is if you are in a very wet place, like I can only say like rainforest conditions. Like we have this place in Maui, Haiku, it's very wet, it rains all the time, and there's a lot of mold. So oil attracts mold, right? And once the oil is in the boot, you really can't get rid of it, no matter how much you clean it. So this is much better served to the person living in a drier condition, okay? But it's an easy application, especially if you do the paintbrush idea. And that's what I do in my shoe repair shop. I just have a nice little tub right there, and as I finish a person's shoe, I fix it. All right, so the next thing, and we're just gonna work over that telephone call, is called Tough Toe. This is an application, and it goes over the top of the shoe. I hope you can see that there. And we'll just wait for that little ring to go by. And I'll just say aloha, happy Friday. Okay, there we go. So this stuff is so great. It costs a bit of money. It's in the upper 30s. And it will cover, so it has a syringe. It has a plastic needle that you screw onto the top of it. You press the syringe together, and it combines these two tubes of a rubberized product into the syringe, a plastic syringe, and then you just apply it on the boot. I'm going to show you that picture. You see they're demonstrating that in that picture there. And it has two separate servings, and each serving will do, if you just did the toe caps like this, you'll get at least 3 pair per serving. So I always recommend to my clients, set up your boots, do them all at once, because once it dries up, you can't reuse that one. And this is really great if you are on your knees, like the electricians and plumbers are down under cabinets, and so they're on their knees a lot, and the toes, especially in a boot that has a safety toe, it rubs the leather right through to the toe cap. So it's not a very pretty product, to be honest. I mean, it's not. So who cares? Who cares if your feet are comfortable? It extends the life of your shoes. And it's, again, it's just going to protect the shoes. So love this stuff. And I did put that link in the carousel. Okay, the last item on my list today is a boot jack. I put the Ariat boot jack in the shopping carousel. This one comes from my shoe repair supplier, but they're all the same. It's this angled piece of wood, and it's got a rubberized surface on the top. And what you do, and I can't demonstrate it because you can't see my feet from here, but you would put one foot here that holds it down, okay? And then you step your other foot and you put the boot in there, and the boot slides right off. So I recommend this, especially if you have trouble reaching down to your boots, if your boots are tight at the end of the day. Just put this by the front door when you're coming in or from the garage. Set it by the door. Take your boots off, they stay in the garage or what have you, but this is a super, super handy tool to have. So that takes care of our presentation today. 6 awesome boots from Ariat, and it is not the only variety that they offer that go up to 14 or even 15. There are a ton of things on Amazon that from the Ariat brand that will help cover those needs for you. So thank you for joining me. If you're watching me on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for following. From Maui, Hawaii, happy Friday. Aloha.